is We Wish You a Merry Christmas from the end of Christmas Story. Probably one of the better versions of the song. So I figured since I'm restarting the show again, I may as well do it this way. So this is the second part episode. I had connections issues 3 minutes in, which is about time. So I might be able to push this one to 43 minutes and be done with everything. So hopefully we won't have to deal with that anymore. So I'm going to get moving on that. But this is Dylan Knows, episode 378A, Beaver Goo. We'll talk about that in a second. But I was just finishing up my story about Baby Yoda. Thrawn was name dropped. He was in the extended universe and is now Rebels brought him into the main universe, and now Ahsoka's looking for him now. So it could be a possible setup for an Ahsoka standalone TV show as she hunts down Thrawn. So that was a big deal. And then, of course, a couple weeks ago, they were screaming that Baby Yoda was, or I should say Grogu, was creating genocide by eating these eggs from a species that was almost extinct. Well, now people are angry that Grogu did not help the younglings take on Anakin because he was rushed out. There was nothing he could do because someone rushed him out before Anakin attacked the younglings or during the youngling attack or whatever. So it wasn't his fault that he didn't help anybody. He probably wanted to help people, but now people are screaming that he should help people, and that's annoying as hell. So I'm just going to keep rolling through some stuff. David Lynch, a lot of people might know, is one of my favorite writer-directors. He inked a deal with Netflix for a new show that he will write and direct called Listeria. So that should be interesting to see how that goes and see what he does with Netflix's unlimited budget and do whatever the hell you want sort of attitude. So that should be fun. That's due 2021, I believe. Probably late because he hasn't started it yet. He just announced it this week. Speaking of Grogu, a hot cocoa bomb, when it melts, reveals a Grogu, Baby Yoda marshmallow, when it melts. So that's a lot of fun for that as well. 'Tis the season, as I said, so Santa Claus all over the place. Kurt Russell had his new Christmas movie come out on Wednesday, the sequel to the popular one from a couple years ago. Kurt Russell said in an interview saying that he absolutely loves playing this character of Santa Claus and that he has decided that Santa Claus will be his last role. Now, a lot of people have been screaming and yelling. It's like, well, does that mean he's retiring now that he's finished this movie? No, it doesn't. It means he'll do other movies. When he's getting ready to retire and say, I'm done with this acting thing, the last film he's going to make is another one of these Santa Claus Christmas movies. So you still might get a few more years out of Kurt Russell acting other stuff, but he said that the last role he wants to play before he retires is Santa Claus again. So he loves the character and enjoys it so much. So good for him that he's got that planned out. Commercials, Christmas commercials are starting, so now you're starting to see the beginnings of those. I have not seen this one, but Steve Carell apparently plays Santa Claus in a commercial. I have not seen it yet. A lot of people are screaming that they should make a movie with Steve Carell as Santa Claus. So whatever, I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I couldn't tell you. But then I saw another one during watching football on Thanksgiving that had a Santa Claus talking to Samuel L. Jackson. Supposedly the ongoing thing is that he's on the naughty list. So he's going to keep trying because he curses. So he's going to keep trying to get on Santa's good list by telling people about Capital One. So I was like, okay, so that's entertaining. It was a funny commercial and so on and so forth like that. And I just thought the Santa Claus was a generic actor. Turns out, I was reading an article the next day on social media that the Santa Claus in that commercial with Samuel L. Jackson was none other than Samuel L. Jackson's co-star from Pulp Fiction, John Travolta. And honestly, I did not know that. It did not even cross my mind that something like that would be the case, but here we are. It is. So apparently I got to see this commercial again to see for sure. But yes, if you see the Samuel L. Jackson Christmas commercial where he's talking to Santa via Zoom, I guess, that is John Travolta as Santa Claus. I don't know who Mrs. Claus is because she has a little comment in there as well. But that is John Travolta as Santa Claus and Samuel Jackson. 200 million year old dinosaur bone was discovered in Ireland. So Ireland now has their claim to dinosaur bones as well. Twinkies cappuccino, ding dong, hot cocoa. I think cupcake cappuccino and snowball cappuccino are all things. Now, I think I talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I figured I'd bring it up again. I talked some football already. The Detroit Lions, who played on Thanksgiving, got embarrassed and are now 4-7 this season. Fired their coach Matt Patricia and their GM Bob Quinn halfway through the season. So they're going to be looking for new staff later on this season. Also, Thanksgiving showed a version of the Macy's Day Parade, but not the Macy's Day Parade. That's why I didn't watch it. But apparently The Rock got a old school balloon of him when he was a youngin' with his mullet and his fanny pack. So they made a balloon out of that. So that was kind of funny. And The Rock also is rumored he'll be getting a Fortnite skin in Fortnite. The Fortnite Galactus event is still scheduled for December 1st at 4 o'clock. So new season of Fortnite is going to pop up on Wednesday, December 2nd. So finish up what you can. I'm on level 200 right now. I need to get to 220 if I want to get all the skins, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it for the next 2 days, considering I have to work on Monday as well. So we'll see. So that's interesting. Godzilla versus Kong, the movie everybody was waiting for, was hoping to see in the movie theater, is starting to go the way of all the other movies now. They are afraid that movie theaters are never going to reopen, and they're seeing that they're making good money on streaming. So Netflix is like, hey, we'll pay you $200 to Netflix. And Godzilla and Kong went, nah, we want to go to HBO Max. I was like, oh. I don't have HBO Max. I don't want HBO Max. And HBO Max is dumb because I don't like it because of the stupid Zack Snyder. But that's besides the point. I don't want to pay for another streaming service. Now, this is like the third movie that I want to see. Wonder Woman and The Witches, both debuting on HBO Max. Is like, come on, man. Movie theaters are, part of history, and they should be treated that way. But now it looks like they turned down a $200 million request to be on Netflix to show up on HBO Max. Why? What's the difference? You could have made $200 million right then. Would have paid for your whole fucking movie. But no, you had to go, oh, we want to go HBO Max. Fuck you. God damn it. Disney Plus, though, is, as I said, they're working on all cylinders there. They've got Soul, the Pixar movie, is going to be opening for free on December 25th. So yeah, for those who don't have Disney Plus, we're getting the Pixar movie that was supposed to be out this year. We also got Mulan, so on and so forth like that. But so they've been doing stuff like that. WandaVision last week, I told you, is going to debut January 15th. And a whole bunch of other Marvel stuff are debuting next year as well. People keep screaming, put Black Widow on Disney Plus. It's like, no, don't. Keep it in movie theaters. You'll never know what could happen. Things could be back to normal. We need to have movies to get back to normal in the summertime. So please don't drop it on Disney Plus. But people keep screaming about it because of reasons, I guess. Anyway, my whole point about this is that all the Marvel shows are starting to getting moving on their production and stuff like that. So Hawkeye is the next one to start production on his TV series. Jeremy Renner posted a picture of a makeup test that he had this week that made him look a lot like the Hawkeye from the Matt Fraction series, with bruises and cuts on his face and stuff like that. So it could be a good Hawkeye series. Is going to be based on the Fraction series. Introduced Kate Bishop. Now, we had an actress who was going to play Shailene something or other, was supposed to play it, and she would have been perfect, but now she's not. So we don't know what's going on with that. So they do start filming this week, so hopefully they will have it cast, or maybe they were able to get it to her soon enough. A video shows a squirrel getting drunk on fermenting pears. Very cute. He's eating something. He's like, what do you expect from a drunk animal? Drunk animals are funny, so let's go like that. A 2,500-year-old mummy was found with tattoos and a satchel full of weed. So, people like that have been around for centuries, so good on that. Vanderbilt, mystery this week, the college, they were suffering from some COVID cases, so they need to hire a kicker. from the student body. They didn't hire them because they're not paying them, but they couldn't find anybody until they said, "Why don't we take a look at the soccer team, the women's soccer team?" And there was a woman by the name of Sarah Fuller, who they said she could be really good. She can boot the ball good. And they signed her to be on their football team to be a kicker. She debuted today as the kicker. So former soccer player, or is still a soccer player, but soccer's canceled. But since soccer's canceled, she's still going to be able to do some sports. So now she's the kicker for Vanderbilt. That idiot in the White House paid for a $3 million recount of the Wisconsin election. And it backfired on him because during the recount, the recounters found 132 additional votes for his opponent, Joe Biden, making his lead 132 votes longer. I'm not going to say anything else about that because I really don't want to get into politics right now because I'm already freaking crazed about stuff. Gorgoo / Baby Yoda is still over the place. Igloo has a Gorgoo / Baby Yoda mini cooler you can now mini cool your drinks with. Mead, which is honey wine, is now set to become the new craft beer of Iceland. So they're going to figure out a way to change it up from being honey wine to honey beer, or make it honey wine beer. But it will be the new popular craft beer in Iceland, which means it'll make its way over to America and it'll become hugely popular over here in about a year or so. The world's deepest swimming pool opened in Poland this week, a 148-foot underwater pool. Basically, you dive into the pool and you go down as deep as you can for a little bit, and there's like a shipwreck which you can swim around and explore. Obviously, you're going to need to have scuba gear on because it's really, really deep. And then you go down this tube, and it'll take you down this tube all the way down to another opening at the bottom, which is where you can swim around again, and then you have to swim your way back up. So it's a 148-foot deep swimming pool is now opened in Poland. It's a weird-looking one, and not really one for just, hey, hanging out and let's hang out and have fun. What the? Why is there? Oh. Santa and carbonite, that's what it is. So someone made a Christmas decoration of Santa Claus in carbonite, similar to the Han Solo in carbonite from Empire Strikes Back, that you can put on your, if you want to traumatize children, you can put it on your front lawn, but it is a massive sized Santa and carbonite decoration. I have an affinity for Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. I portrayed Bob Cratchit my senior year of high school when we did a version of the play, so I always enjoy A Christmas Carol. There's a number of versions of Christmas Carol I enjoyed. The Scrooge version, Scrooge with Bill Murray, the Muppet Christmas Carol, George C. Scott, Patrick Stewart, the Bob Zemeckis one is okay. Various different Christmas carols out there. Anyway, Lego is getting into that with a Christmas Carol Lego set. I believe it's like Cratchit's house with Tiny Tim and other stuff like that. But it is based on a Christmas Carol, and it has Christmas Carol written on the outside, so you know that it is. So Frank's Red Hot Bloody Mary mix is now a thing as well. So if you want a nice red hot Bloody Mary, you can now get Frank's Red Hot Bloody Mary mix. Frank's also has Red Hot Buffalo style chicken dip. So if you want some chicken dip for your hot stuff, go for that as well. Ohio State coach Ryan Day has COVID-19, as does Alabama coach Nick Saban. He also has COVID-19, so they will not be able to coach their college games at this point. So it's not just the NFL that's getting hit with COVID, it's college as well. There's a new Funko Pop. It's on the Operation game. It's basically a standing, the patient that you do use in Operation the game. This pop is him, a 3D version of him standing with all the slots open on him. So it looks very weird and unusual. Melting ice in Norway reveals ancient arrows. So that's one good sign of climate change, as you're discovering stuff that's been frozen for centuries. You can now do some archaeological digs and stuff like that to check it out. Teenagers continue to do stupid things. The newest thing now is bleaching their eyes to change the color. Obviously, they've never heard of color-changing contacts. I guess you don't necessarily need them if you have 20/20 vision. But putting bleach in your eye to try to get rid of the color of your eyes, I weep for this country's education, which is why things are the way they are, is because of uneducated a-holes. And this doesn't help any. Bleaching your eyes. There's a movie or something that they used torture by bleaching somebody's eyes, makes them blind or something. I think it was Batman. It was a Batman comic. The Joker used torture Alfred by throwing bleach in his eyes and burning them and making him almost blind. What the hell is up with that? Morons. It's like eating Tide Pods, which could kill you. Medicinal plants may have evolved to be in camouflage, so humans kill them. Basically, plants discovered, hey, we're getting, we're medicinal plants. These humans are coming, they're tearing us up, and we're losing, growth. We're not continuing our growth. So they evolve so that they are camouflaged, so that somebody could be walking through woods looking for a medicinal plant, and they see, that's nothing, and it looks like just leaves or whatever, but it's or grass, and it's like, nope, that's what you're looking for. So that's kind of interesting to see that plants could actually have that sort of knowledge or type of thing like that. The hell is this? Utah officer. I can't read this one. There's always one I can't read. So it's something about Utah. Weather loach, a air-breathing invasive fish, has been found in Athens, Georgia Creek. So that's not good. So a fish that can breathe air that's not supposed to be there is actually there. I have no idea what that is. Cotton candy crunch is now on the shelves now from Captain Crunch. You can get the cotton candy flavored crunch. Someone found a Mountain Dew from 1992, opened the top and looked at it, and when they looked at it, they were surprised to see that that bottle that they discovered of Mountain Dew from 1992 had a winning Super Nintendo cap. Remember the old days, sodas used to have cross promotions with stuff like Super Nintendo and stuff like that, where there'd be a competition where you have to buy sodas, and if you twist off the cap inside, you look at it, you could win maybe money or T-shirts or stuff like that. And one was to give away Super Nintendo thing. This one found the winning Super Nintendo bottle. So apparently nobody with the Super Nintendo in that competition. So I don't even know what that is. Beaver butts emit a goo used in vanilla flavoring. Now, I don't know how true that is, but that's what they said. I need to ask my wife because she deals with vanilla flavoring, but that's I called this version's episode Beaver Goo because of that story. So beaver butts emit a goo that's used in vanilla ice flavoring. Okay, then. Thanks for sharing. Utah officials are thrilled to see animals using that's what it is, using a highway wilderness bridge over a intersection, a busy highway. Now, you've seen that before where there are places that build like walkways for animals over highways so that they don't get killed crossing the street with all the busy cars, and cars don't get damaged and people don't get hurt. So they built like these little walkways. It's in usually other foreign countries, but Utah apparently built one for themselves to see if the animals that have been getting killed on the Utah highways will use it, and they are thrilled to see they actually are using it. So that means the animal deaths will be down and the car accidents will be down as well. And the animals will continue to be safe. So I'm glad I figured that one out. For TV shows, Christmas movies is A Christmas Story. I watched every Christmas Eve. I played the Christmas Story music beforehand this episode. Well, in Chickasha, Oklahoma, there's a 40-foot tall leg lamp statue from A Christmas Story in their town square. So it's a major award. It's fragile, all that stuff, but it's kind of weird to see a massive statue to a giant leg lamp for a awesome Christmas movie. Direct fusion drive has been created and is still being tested right now, but if they can get to work right and install it into ships, a direct fusion device could get us to Saturn in 2 years. Right now, it takes us a year and a half when the stuff is good to get to Mars. So the fact that it would take us 2 years to get to Saturn is quite the good step in the right direction for interstellar travel, because Saturn is way further than Mars. Basically, I think it took Voyager almost 10 years to get to Saturn. So to cut 8 years off of that is insane, which means you could get to Jupiter in a year probably, and you get to Mars in a couple of months. So that's a good sign. That could be a good sign also. You get out further into the other interstellar space. They continue to improve upon it and get things to go faster. So that's pretty cool. Organic light emitting diode using copper has been discovered, which could enlighten an entire room and house for much less power and much less money to do it. So there's a new power source being worked on right now for lighting to make things a lot more cheaper and easier for people. S'mores pops are now on sale at Walmart. They're basically pops that are chocolate marshmallow with graham cracker crust on it, and you can just eat right off the stick, or I guess if you want to try to heat it up and make your own s'mores, you can, but they are now available at Walmart. Already talked about this one, so I did this one. I talked about this last week, when I bring it up again because I'm in the space mood right now. Jupiter and Saturn will form a vision of a double planet just before in the sky just before Christmas, because of how close they're going to be. It's going to look like a double planet. They're going to be like literally like right next to each other. So it's going to be really interesting to see that stuff. Crocodile and shark come face to face miles from swimming children in Australia. So, hey, wonderful. New book claims that Robin Hood was really a Scotsman, not an Englishman. That's kind of interesting. It was probably written by a Scotsman, so who knows? Is it possible? Sure it is, but we won't know for sure. Anime is huge. Just how huge is it? Last year, 2019, the anime industry grew to $24.1 billion. That's from manga, anime, posters, action figures, cards, everything under the sun you can think of. So manga, anime is huge right now. Will continue to be huge, and so on and so forth. Daredevil's rights revert to Marvel this week. So Marvel, the MCU, now has the rights of Daredevil again. They've gotten the rights of all the other Netflix ones over the past few weeks. I think The Punisher is the only one that's outstanding right now, and he's going to be coming up the rear very soon. But Vincent D'Onofrio, who played a iconic and should play the Kingpin in the MCU, is trying to save the show to get new seasons of it through Disney Plus / the MCU and try to continue the series. Despite the fact that the first 3 seasons were on Netflix, they want to continue the series, for the fans of the show, as if there was no changeover, just that you can see it Disney Plus now. It's on Netflix, and then they can get the rights to air all the episodes of all the Netflix shows on Disney Plus. So they're working on that right now, so we'll see what happens. But I think it'd be neat to see all of them on Disney Plus, so that'd be good. Last week I told you about the Godfather Code of the Death of Michael Corleone. It's Francis Ford Coppola's director's cut of Godfather 3. So it'll be out within the next week or so. Diane Keaton, who stars in it as Kay, and starred in the first two movies as well, saw the cut of it in a movie theater, and she absolutely fell in love with it. She was not a big fan of the original cut of it and thought it was, not needed. But when she saw this new cut, she absolutely fell in love with it and loved how Coppola fixed everything, and is very happy. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago on my show, but it's now official. Mads Mikkelsen, who was being talked to about replacing Johnny Depp in Fantastic Beasts 3, has officially been signed to do that. So he is going to be in Fantastic Beasts 3, playing the role that Johnny Depp was fired from. Candle Smells Like White Castle cheeseburgers now out for sale as well. Reese's half-pound cups are now available at Sam's Club, but I can get that really anywhere. I've gotten a bunch of those at Christmas time as well. A couple deaths to talk about. Hal Ketchum, country music star, dies at age 67 due to dementia. Tony Sia, Zappos founder, the shoe Zappos founder, creator of Downtown props as well, died at the age of 46, too younger than me. That's crazy. Mike Hobson, Marvel executive vice president at one time, died at the age of 83 this week. Paul Quinn, co-founder of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, died at the age of 37 due to his ALS, I would assume. Marcus Paul, the strength and conditioning coach for the Dallas Cowboys, died suddenly. He was still working and alive at the age of 54 this week. Diego Ellen, soccer star, died at the age of 60. Christopher Dominici, dead at 48. He was a rugby player. David Hemblum, the voice of Magneto in the X-Men cartoon, died at the age of 79 this week as well. I think that's all the deaths this week. Talked about the Mountain Dew from 1992. Well, Mountain Dew Violet, which was only available in Japan, has now made its way over to the United States. It is a grape-flavored, sort of similar flavor, grape purple-colored Mountain Dew. John Barrowman will be reprising his role as Captain Jack Harkness in Doctor Who. Everyone loves him, and he's great, so he's coming back in the new Doctor Who. Strange object falls from the sky over the Navajo Nation. A lot of people believe it's some kind of satellite, but no one is taking credit for it or saying what it is. They don't know what it is, so that was kind of weird. A couple finds more than 66 bottles of Prohibition-era whiskey hidden in the walls of their New York home. So it's always kind of neat to see stuff like that when you find that, or you find there was someone who found a chest of gold coins or money or something from Prohibition. That was another thing as well. Hey, Radio Shack is coming back apparently. So they just announced that today. So I don't know when that's going to roll out. Probably not till the new year. But hey, you're going to start seeing Radio Shack again. I don't know what they're actually going to be doing. Maybe they'll continue to do what they've been doing, is selling, music and radios and TVs and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. I call myself turducken. I think it's an interesting thing. Turkey, stuff with duck. The duck is stuffed with chicken, and you cook it all together, and you cut it all up, and you get duck, chicken, and turkey for your Thanksgiving dinner. How about a turducken? A turkey stuffed with Dunkin's Munchkins is a thing now, and that just sounds absolutely grotesque and disgusting, so we're not going to talk about that anymore. Mac and cheese egg rolls with ham or bacon is now a thing also, so you roll up your mac and cheese, add some ham and bacon, and an egg roll shell, and there you go, you got egg roll stuff. Scotland's in the news again. Actually, real quick, what I'm about to say, Heinz has mac and cheese in a can. That just sounds really bad. So yeah, we're not going to try any of that. Minute Maid has a blue raspberry drink that I want to try. They say it's very delicioso, so it should be interesting to take a look at. Suffgenetta, a jelly donut popsicle, is now a thing out and about right now. You can get stuff like that as well. Kit Kat has a hazelnut spread, which is only available in the UK, like a Nutella, but it's from Kit Kat. Apple Pie Pepsi, I talked to you last week about how I wanted to go on a hunt on my vacation to try to find it. I did a little searching, couldn't find it, so I was getting kind of frustrated. When I reread the article again, discovered you can only get it as a sweepstakes prize. Basically, you had to take a picture of your worst cooking fail because of the Thanksgiving thing, hashtag it cooking fail, whatever. They'd vote on it, and they would send you the apple pie. So I never did. So no apple pie Pepsi for me, which I would have really liked to try, but no, didn't work that way. Let's see, any other pull-apart cheesy bread is now available at Costco for your holiday appetizer dining. So that's okay. Let's see. I've never heard of this. Time crystals. I don't know if they are to power superconductors. Just sounds science fiction to me, but it's an actual thing. So that's interesting, I guess. Apple crisp cheesecake is a thing also, combining apple crisp and cheesecake together for the perfect fall dessert. Sour Patch Kids gelatin is now a thing also. And mint vanilla milk. Blech, that just sounds disgusting. Scotland, as I was starting on before I got on this food run, is in the news again. They are the first country to allow pads and tampons to be given away for free. And that should be something that should be free. So I wish that more people are going to do that as well. Gremlins 3, which we never thought we would see or hear about. The script is officially done by Chris Columbus, so I think it's going to be directing also. They'll be using puppets instead of CGI, so that should be, since the script is done by Chris Columbus. He might not be directing it. He might get Joe Dante to do it again, but he is a pretty good director, and Gremlins are his creation. He created them in his script, so it might be interesting to see what his take on it if he directed it instead of Joe Dante, though I love Joe Dante, but it might be interesting to see his take on it, so keep an eye out for that. Clifford the Big Red Dog has a live action film out and just as weird as you think it would be. First trailer came out this week, so it's just kind of what you expect. Netflix has made a deal with a New Mexico production company by funding a $1 billion fund for production in New Mexico. So their live movie, their new movies and shows that they're going to be doing, they will be using these New Mexico facilities for pre-production, production, on-set stuff. If the stories take place in New Mexico, or you need to take place in 4 countries that are similar to the climate in New Mexico, you can do that as well. Or if you are all sound stagey, you can do that as well. So good on that for New Mexico. It's good for them. Penguins visit Soldier Field in Chicago, which is the football stadium for the Chicago Bears. With a lot of people not being allowed to go to aquariums and zoos, they've been bringing the animals out to the world and let them explore the world on their own. So they let them loose in the Chicago Soldier Field locker rooms and on the field itself. So they had a fun time running around in Chicago. Joss Whedon exits The Nevers, his new HBO show that he was cultivating, created, and all this stuff. He's now no longer a part of it. Rumor has it it's the issues that he's had with people calling him difficult and a prima donna, stuff like that. Don't know if it's true or not. I still don't believe this hearing from the Justice League crew, because they're all Zack Snyder homers, and I'm not going to talk about that either. So we'll see about that. Rare whale found stranded in North Carolina Outer Banks. So whales that not only seen in the Outer Banks have been stranded out there. So they're trying to save them, but that's kind of weird to see them appearing in these locations. New York City police officers shut down a sex party that had 80 people, room full of mattresses, and boxes of condoms. So, hey, that sounds like my kind of party. Yeah, so no sex parties in New York. Johnny Rotten, the musician, got fleas got flea bitten on his groin after helping squirrels at his home. So he had squirrels in his home running around. Their fleas jumped into his pants and bit his cock. So yeah, he's got flea bites on his dick. So that's wonderful. Tenet, the Christopher Nolan movie, is now coming to Blu-ray on December 15th after its limited run in theaters. Didn't do as well as people thought it would and didn't go to streaming. Will go to streaming eventually, but right now it will be out available on Blu-ray on the 15th of December. The Expanse to end with the 6th season based on the science fiction novel series on Sci-Fi. I think Sci-Fi did the first 4 seasons, and then I think Amazon or Netflix took it over and is doing the last ones. They will end their show with season 6. So there we go. One of my wife's favorite movies is Finding Forrester with Sean Connery. Well, they'll be making a TV show for the Peacock, the NBC streaming, based on the Finding Forrester story. I guess you could make a movie out of that, I suppose. Basically, the premise behind that is a genius black high school writer has to deal with some racism when he goes to a all-white school, basically, where he's a better writer than half the people in that place. And there's a teacher that he takes that absolutely hates him because of how good his writing is. So by accident, this black student stumbles upon a writer by the name of Forrester, who's similar to Catcher in the Rye. He's very reclusive and doesn't want him to see him, and they strike up a friendship, and he helps him with his writing. And one day, by accident, the black student steals some of Forrester's writing and passes it off as his own. And he could get kicked out of school once it's discovered that's way. So he tries to convince Forrester, who he's been helping to open up and get out into the world more often, to help him and say that, that wasn't the case and stuff like that. He didn't do it deliberately. It wasn't something deliberate. So it's a good movie and it's entertaining. So check it out. Stranger Things season 4, as we know, takes place in the 1980s. Last season dealt with the Russian Cold War issues that happened in the mid-80s. And now rumor has it that this new season that's currently being filmed right now for release next year may be taking on another 1980s era problem, the rise of Satanism, which, to be honest, if you've ever heard about the Church of Satan really is not evil like Satanists make it out to be, or people make Satanists out to be. Satanism is an extreme version of the satanic religion. The Church of Satan is actually not a bad religion at all. Check it out for yourself. If you don't believe me, Google it, check it out yourself. It really isn't. So there was a whole lot of stuff that was happening with Satanism and stuff like that in the 1980s, and it just makes perfect sense that a show like Stranger Things would delve into that because it was a big deal in the mid-80s. So that's pretty interesting, and it fits the idea of the show, 80s. So that's pretty interesting, and it fits the idea of the show, I do have, as I said, I don't have a Starbucks or a Pop-Tarts or an Oreo thing. I don't really have Pop-Tarts and Oreo or a Starbucks story, but I do have a Krispy Kreme one. Krispy Kreme holiday donuts are on their way out now, and one apparently is stuffed with sugar cookie cream, because that's like the new flavor du jour now. So that's pretty cool. My Hero Academia, which, I told you the anime was made $24.1 billion. My Hero Academia is one of the reasons why. They are announcing a third movie. They have 2 movies out already. A third movie has been announced, so that'll be coming out probably sometime next year or the year after that. So that will be rolling their way in there soon. Third vaccine for COVID has been discovered and found and will become available along with the other 2. So who knows which one is the one everybody's going to pick, but you're going to have at least 3 different chances at it. Skittles gummies. I like Skittles. I like gummies. That could be an interesting one as well. A drunken peanut butter cup is a new drink you can make for the holidays that tastes like a peanut butter cup. So that might be one I might want to check out as well. In-N-Out Burger, which is a huge chain out in California is finally starting to release some further east. The first one that they released further east, they're opening up in Denver, Colorado. There was a 14-hour wait to get into In-N-Out Burger in Colorado. First of all, that's ridiculous. 14 hours for a stupid hamburger is almost as bad as waiting in line for the Popeye's chicken sandwich. That went crazy as well. Secondly, I have had In-N-Out Burger, so I can say this with conviction and aplomb. In-N-Out Burger is highly overrated. Its burgers are not any better than any other burger. There's nothing special about them, nothing special about the fries. It's all marketing. It's all like that. It's not that big of a deal. But people don't listen to me anyway. Don't take it from me. I physically have had an In-N-Out Burger, so I know when I went out to California, when I worked at Diamond, I did a convention out there. The guy who picked me up from the airport, who I was rooming with, who worked at Diamond as well, he took me out to the In-N-Out Burger for my first In-N-Out Burger, and it was not as great as everybody makes it. It was good. It was fine, but it wasn't the greatest hamburger of all time. So people, please, a 14-hour wait for a mediocre hamburger is ridiculous. Overrated, I should say, not mediocre. Overrated hamburger is ridiculous. Snickerdoodle cheesecake. I think I talked about that before, but snickerdoodles and cheesecake always sounds like a good thing. I think I've talked about this one before as well. 7-Eleven has teamed up with a shoe company to make 7-Eleven shoes using the colors red, green, and orange for their shoes and look like a 7-Eleven thing. Mike Tyson has a fight tonight. He's back in the ring tonight at actually 17 minutes in. So I wonder if it's over yet or if that was just the event. Let's just see Mike Tyson. But yes, he has come out of retirement to do a fight. Let's see. The main card starts at 9 p.m. I guess there's like 4 other. Yeah, they haven't fought yet. It's coming up next. So, yeah, so it's 9 o'clock Pacific time because they're fighting out in California, I think. So that would be at midnight. They're going to come out. So we're going to find out if Mike Tyson still got it. He hasn't been in the ring for years. He was always a big how do you do in boxing. I used to watch this stuff in the 80s as well, 90s, because it was the biggest thing. This is Muhammad Ali. And then he got into the whole rape thing, and then he sort of disappeared. And now he's back. So that is out today, starting today. The Undertaker of the WWE, one of the most popular wrestlers of all time, has retired. So he is done. No more WWE for him. Of course, a lot of people say that. The Rock and so on and so forth say that they are retired from wrestling and they come back periodically. So we'll see. But right now, The Undertaker is officially retired and will not be back anytime soon. I can't read this. So I'll skip that. Twitter makes scuba diving confining mold. I don't know what that is. Alex Trebek, before he died, donated 62 acres of land to Los Angeles for a park. So that's really kind of nice to see that. I don't know what the hell that says. One of my most anticipated comic books of the year is finally coming out on Tuesday as we get Batman and Catwoman #1, written by Tom King, drawn by Clay Mann. I've enjoyed Tom King's getting Batman and Catwoman together because I think they absolutely deserve to be together, and I love the storyline that they had set up for the two of them, and I want to see it to continue. Well, now it is with some sexy Clay Mann artwork, and we are also going to connect it to the Mask of the Phantasm, the fantastic Batman animated series cartoon. Now it's on the Black Label, which means it's not necessarily going to be in the same proper Batman continuity, which is a bullshit pain in the ass, but regardless, I don't care. I am going to the comic store on Tuesday. I haven't been going to Tuesday because that's when DC come out. I haven't been going on Tuesdays lately because I've just figured they're still there on Wednesday when I get all my comics. But this one, I will make the trip on Tuesday to pick it up, and I will read it because I haven't really read a lot of stuff recently. So that one I definitely will read because that's one I've been looking forward to all week, and it is all month, all year, and it's finally making its way out here. Let's see if there's one other thing I'm like, is that Twinkies make? Oh, I think there was a Twinkie that was years old that they discovered. Everyone said that Twinkies were going to last forever, but they discovered one that actually has mold in it. So I guess that's what was story about. I don't know. Finally, the last story for this final November of 2020, episode of 2020 November. Shark stabbed through the heart by a swordfish. I don't know how else I could end this episode, but that just is an absolute insane story. But an actual swordfish actually used his sword nose in a way people have only really made fun of or parodied or said, hey, he could use it as a sword. And he actually did. He pierced a shark's heart with his sword nose. So, yeah. So that's it. Sorry we had to split up the episode in half, but it's about the same length each time. Enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving weekend. As I said, we only got one more day left anyway. And by the time this is posted, it'll be December probably. So the Christmas season is upon us. Holiday season, whatever you want to call it. Get excited, get happy. We've only got, 4 more episodes left in this year. Obviously, I'll probably make some room, maybe do some like on New Year's Eve itself, which is on a Friday. No, New Year's Eve is on a Thursday. Because Christmas is on Thursday also, yes. So it would be the 5th, the 12th, the 19th, the 26th, and then it would be the 2nd of January. So 4 episodes left in this year. So Christmas is coming. Christmas is coming fast. And the year is coming to an end. Thank God for that. Democrats will be back in office in January. Thank God for that. And our national nightmare hopefully will be over. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in this upcoming week. Next week, I should probably be talking about, maybe I'll do my review of Batman Catwoman #1, the new Mandalorian episode, anything football related, see how the Ravens did against the Steelers, how all that played out. We'll be able to talk about that and anything else that pops up. So take care, be safe, be happy. Love to all. Happy Thanksgiving. It's December, everybody. Bon hiver. Meteorological winter starts on Tuesday. Bye.